folks, Jonathan here. A lot of you may remember old Mike from New York, also known as Maniac Mike. He drives in the crash up derbies and stuff like that, so he's kind of a crazy driver. But anyway, I bought a motorcycle about a month ago and in another state, and was just waiting on Mike to be able to get a trip by there because I didn't want to make a special trip for it, and to pick it up, and he's got it, and we're going to meet him here at a truck stop and load it onto my truck. And this is a 1957 Famous James motorcycle. It's 225cc, two-cycle street bike, made in England. You know, a lot of you from the UK will know or be familiar with this bike. A lot of you from the United States probably won't be. But, you know, there was a really big manufacturer of bikes, but, you know, you just don't see them a lot. Pretty rare. Well, they're definitely rare around here, but this thing has got a Villers engine on it, so two-cycle. So we're going to grab it up here, and it needs some work for sure, but it's been sitting for years. And someone's messed with it some of the wiring, you know, that everything ain't holding on like it needs to be. So anyway, future project, but got it at a deal, so let's see what we've got. There she is. Let's get a look at her. Not bad. Alright, we're going to see if we can get it off of here and load it on the truck here in a minute. Alright. Okay folks, we've got the Famous James motorcycle back here. And bought this just with pictures, wasn't sure of the condition, and it's about what I figured. It's definitely not better than I figured it was. Might be a little worse, just because of the fact that the seller didn't tell me, you know, the whole story. They tell you part of the story, they don't tell you the whole story. A lot of the parts were just unbolted from this and sitting on it. Tank's sitting on it, seat's sitting on it, the shifter and the kickstart was just slid on it, not tightened down. A lot of the parts are just wire tied on. There's wire ties on the outsides of the foot pedals. Didn't, you know, tell me nothing about that stuff, just the fact that it'd been sitting and it had a wiring issue. And, you know, I'm not saying that because it was a you know, auction, I'm not saying that that was wrong of him not telling me, but if I would have sold it, I would have told somebody. But that's okay. We can live with that. I bought this bike knowing that parts are all but unavailable. I don't know engine-wise what's available. This is a Villers engine. But that don't matter to me because, you know, that was my whole point of doing things, you know, back when I was young and my mom and stepdad wouldn't let me buy that Studebaker because you couldn't get parts for it. I really always hated that, and that sort of inspires me now to buy stuff that you can't get parts for. You know, the L-car, stuff like this, and not necessarily because it's rare, because something that's rare don't mean it's valuable. It's just something that I like that's different. You know, it's just different than what everybody sees every day. And this is actually, it's 225cc, but this is a big bike. This is a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. It's tall. I thought it was just going to be, you know, a small 225cc, but I mean it's just a lot bigger than physically, you know, a lot bigger than I thought. It's not heavy or anything like that, but and it could be just because of the bulky gas tank and, you know, the fender sheet metal and the big headlight.
which is what I like about it anyway. So, you know, I like that sheet metal style. You can see the back fender's bent over. Tail light is on it. Got some bending here. Unfortunately, in the trip, the Kickstarter got gone. It was loose and did not know it. And this was also loose. Luckily, it didn't fall off. The bolt was, you know, in it. It just wasn't tightened down. The seat, of course, was loose, and thankfully Mike noticed that and put a strap over it. And, you know, the Kickstarter getting going is, you know, that's just the way it is. I'll work with it. I'll do what I need to do. I'm not blaming Mike because he, you know, he done a good job of doing what he done. You know, just finding what he could find that was loose. Anyway, it's got toolboxes, or a toolbox on this side. Let's look at the other side. I hadn't even opened it yet. Okay, it's got a regular coil there. That's probably something somebody's put in it, I'm sure, and they had a battery. So somebody's been firing it off a coil. And that's just a regular 6-volt automotive style coil. I do know I didn't get the owner's manual that was supposed to be with it in the CD. I'm assuming a parts CD, so that should be here soon. Let me get this closed. Okay, because what I'm really going to need on this bike is a wiring diagram to get the wiring back like it, you know, it should be. And we'll go through it and check it out. It does kick over. It's supposed to have compression. I haven't checked yet. The shifter pedal does fit on the splines of the kick. I just moved it far enough to know it wasn't stuck. I haven't tried to kick it over yet. Everything else, I mean, it's not terrible. There's, you know, there's a little pitting and rust and stuff, which it was to be expected. It's showing either, I'm assuming this is not tense. It could be tense. It could be 1,763 miles, or that may not be tense, and that's 17,637 miles. So I don't know for sure. If it's a two-stroke, it's got that many miles, that's a lot of miles, but that could be tense, even though it's not white like a lot of them. So, just something different, something that sort of caught my eye, being different. The rear pegs are here, which is a good thing, and both of them, and it was folded up, but it's here. Now this didn't have folding pegs on it. I'm not sure what held these pegs to keep them from turning. So we'll have to figure that out, see if there's something missing, something I'm going to have to make. But let's see what kind of compression we've got here. Now I sort of like this too. This is a 4-speed transmission. It's got 1 down, 3 up, and when you change the gears, it's actually got a little needle there that moves, that shows you what gears it's in, and that does work. I did check that out. So I guess we can start it with the clutch, with the shifter pedal, huh? Alright, I feel something, possibly the clutch slipping. It is kicking over, but and I hear what sounds like possibly a dry bearing. Could be a crank bearing, or could be a, you know, the pen bushing. But compression wise, I think it would run, but I think it feels like a clutch is slipping. They've got the cable loosened up a lot, so we'll have to tear into that and see what's wrong. And you know, I figured if we needed a piston or something like that, we can adapt something to it. We don't necessarily have to use a you know, a Villers if I can't find it. I think there's more Villers parts around than there is James parts, so maybe somebody will know. But engine type looks like LH or IH. And like I said, my understanding is it's a 1957, made by the James Cycle Company, and they was in business from 1897 to 1966. And they was actually bought out in 51. AMC, Associated Motorcycle Company or something. Anyway, they bought them out, but they kept them until 66. And I think the biggest bike they built was a 250, and this is the 225. And this is actually a Colonel, 225 James Colonel, and made in Birmingham. So I'm sure some of you from UK probably are familiar with the bikes. I wasn't until I seen this one, so thought it was neat. And so we're gonna put this thing away for a while. We're not going to mess with it right now, but we're going to put it away for a while, and then later on we'll see what we can do about maybe doing a first start video or getting it running. It was supposed to have ran. A guy up in New Jersey had it, and it was in a collection. Tank's in good shape, except there is some surface rust inside, so we can get that out with Metal Rescue or something, and we'll go from there. But I just like the style of the bike. That's why I was interested in it. And let me see. I don't know if I don't think I've ever had a British bike. I think this may be the first British bike I've owned. I don't know of one that I've had. Never had a Triumph or a Norton or BSA. I think I had a Bridgestone when I was young, but I don't know where that was made. I'd have to check. But anyway, you'll see more on this one later, and I appreciate everybody watching. And until next time, bye.